Alright, so we are going to have the replacement surgery, I guess. So that must be what happened to your father, Mom says on the phone that night, after you've explained Algernon's disease. She looks wistful in the video feed. I thought that might be the case, you say. You said he had a stroke, but didn't have any episodes before the last one? Oh yes, your mother says. He fainted several times, but he wanted to hide it from you. He said he didn't want to worry you, but I think he just didn't like showing weakness. He begged me not to tell you. I don't understand your generation sometimes, you say. I could have done genetic testing long ago if I'd known. We didn't understand it either, honey, Mom says. You're used to living in a world where everything is under control and makes sense, but medicine just still isn't there. Old age is full of things coming out of the blue to get you. There's that old saying, old age isn't a battle, it's a massacre. She smiles. Oh, do you even understand how much you've done personally to change that, sweetie? It was your medical technology that saved me. Well, I just hope it's good enough to save me. I know it is, sweetie. You know, somehow, talking to you convinces me everything's going to be all right, you say. Mom laughs. That's not what I'm saying at all, honey. But it's like the serenity prayer says. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to tell the difference. I think I can change a lot, you say. I know you can, sweetie. I know you can. That night, after the lights are out and you and Flame are in bed, you are wondering if Flame is still awake because her back is turned to you, and if she would talk if she was awake. Flame says quietly, Ben, I'm awake. I love you. I love you too. Whatever happens, I want you to know that you're the best thing that's ever happened to me, Flame says. I don't just mean that you gave me life. You gave me your heart, and you keep on giving it every day. You didn't have to, and that's what makes you beautiful. Alright. You're the best thing that's happened to me too. Thank you. Where I'm going, you can't follow. I'm sorry. That sounds like I'm dying. Go to the last one. Flame squeezes your hand and you kiss. When you begin to make love, Flame is hesitant at first, as if your new condition makes you fragile, but you soon prove to her that you are not. The next day, you take Curry to the park just outside Vancouver, hoping walking around one of her favorite kinds of places will cheer her up. Although Curry had been excited about the prospect of you becoming more machine-like at first, the possibility of your death during surgery seems to have sunk in. The idea that you may not always be around seems to have put Curry in a somewhat melancholy mood. I'm not young anymore either, Van Curry says. You might not think of me as aging, but technology ages even faster than people. I look just as old and clunky compared to the robots around us. When you built me, people would throw away their computers after just 4 years. Their phones after 2. Nobody's going to throw you away, you assure Curry. Without you, I'll probably stop working someday. Curry looks off into the distance. If I die, Ben, do you think I will continue to exist after death in some form? You live on the way you change people's lives, Curry. I don't see why you couldn't have a soul. But that's the difference between us, Curry. You never need to die. We'll tell her that one. Curry looks troubled. But the person whose life I changed the most was yours, Ben. That's probably oof, you say, because Curry throws her humanoid hands around you at that point. Curry gives you a solemn look. If you die, I will destroy myself as well. No, you need to be alive so that you can tell my story. Nobody else knows it as well as you. No, it's the part of your education too. Remember that everyone you meet must face losing loved ones someday. Most humans would love to have the opportunity you have to keep exploring. Take it. We'll go with the second one. Curry seems to ponder this deeply. Apparently, this never occurred to her. Finally, she lets out a great wail. But that means this world is full of so much sadness, Ben. How does it keep functioning? +5 empathy. We adapt, Curry, you say, and so can you. The sun is setting, so you head home before it gets dark. You recall from your earliest days making chatbots the easiest parts of the conversation for an AI. We're always the beginning and the end. As in a chess game, there are only so many ways to open hello, heya, sup. In a chess game, once the action is done, there are only so many ways it can make sense to close. We should do this again sometime, or it's getting late, or... Oh, there is no or. The pieces are off the board, and some moves will never be made. So too with life. There are only so many ways to say goodbye. A week later, you arrive at the hospital for surgery. Your surgeon, a robot, greets you warmly in the waiting room. I'll be just a moment. You wait for a few minutes, then the surgeon comes out again. Right this way and have a seat in the chair. Goodbye, Flame says, and with a kiss you part ways. No, you don't say goodbye. You say I'll see you later. Your chair itself is a robot of sorts, full of motorized parts able to swing in and out. You wonder briefly just how intelligent it is. You have a moment of panic as you realize you may die here. This place may be the last place you are ever alive. But you remind yourself that the robots are the best. You have nothing to fear. I'm going to put this mask over your face. Breathe normally and eventually you will lose consciousness. You wonder what it is like to lose consciousness, and you try to pay close attention to the process. Yeah, I did that too. It does not help. Yeah, you sit there, they put the mask on you, and you're like, oh yeah, this is fine, absolutely. And they're like, you know it's going to start to take effect, and like 5 minutes later, you're like, yeah, it ain't done shit yet. Where the fuck am I? Got a chip in your head. Oh, got chipped. Jeez, I hope that's not Dead Rising 3. When you awaken, the hospital room around you feels uncanny. It is as if a sheer physicality of the world never really struck you before. For example, Flame is in the room with you and taking up space. She does not just afford social interaction, but is a physical obstacle. Why did this duality never strike you before? The fuck are you talking about? Damn it, I've been chipped. Ben, you're awake, Flame says. She happily holds you in her arms. Ben, you survived, Carrie says excitedly. I am indeed fully functional, you say. You find that the chip is making your speech more fluid somehow. It brings a precision of language uncluttered by ums and uhs and almost right words, so that's nice. Your operation seems to have taken a lot out of you, Flame says, a little sadly. Nonsense, you say. I used the same chip when I made you. Flame seems caught off guard by this. I think I had a lot of learning to do back then, Flame says quietly, and I have never been as ready as you to believe I am perfect. Flame raises an excellent point, you think. Why, if I think that, why is it not italicized? Oh, you think, and then after, I'm dumb. You do now see ways in which she is deficient. You start a thread on your new chip to begin enumerating them. Great. But I will teach you what I've learned, Flame continues, clasping your hand. You will find that empathy is different now. It is a thing you must consciously do, but it will become easier with practice. You wonder whether you and Flame had ever been talking about the same thing at all when you spoke of your feelings before. Probably not, you decide, but the point seems academic to you now. Now we can communicate directly, Ben. Check this out. A torrent of images flash through your mind. Not just in text strings, but binary data. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool, you agree. Taking a moment to digest the images, you and Curry simply gorged on books during the few days that you were in the hospital, judging from the file timestamps. Your social proximity reward function must have been pretty negative, you think sympathetically. Absently, you realize and earlier you would have said, "Did you miss me?" Yeah. Oh, Ben, it's so nice. We can finally really communicate. I don't know who said that, but sure. Would you two lovebirds stop staring into each other's eyes, Flame says impatiently. Oh, so I was talking to Curry. Alright. Made it to the end without dying. Cool. On the flight home, Flame is in the driver's seat, but as soon as you're up in the air, the autopilot turns on. She holds your hands with both of her own. She stays that way for most of the flight. Something like this is bound to make you think about your life decisions. Make you realize we're not always going to be on this earth. The question Flame that is sidling towards is unmistakable. I know you could have spent more time on other things. Ben, I see a flock of birds, Curry pipes up from the back seat. A parliament of rooks. I think... No, wait. An exaltation of larks. Or maybe an unkindness of crows. But you probably can't see them yourself at all. I've done a lot of things in my life, you say, enough for anyone. Few of them have made me as happy as you next to me every day. Flame gathers you in her arms and holds you close. You could have done more, it's true, but this is more than enough. Anyway, so that says the end. I don't know if clicking on that is actually going to take me out of it. It's going to say, like, congratulations for playing this, check out more games and stuff like that. I know how it ends. So, my fame, doesn't really matter. Wealth, I was wealthy, got married. They're stable in their autonomous nature. They are impressive in their military precedence, sure. 53, they're singular, and they are amazingly graceful. And I ended on a positive note with everybody, and the U.S. was slightly over China, and I didn't actually read Chapter 6b or Chapter 7 yet, so... You created a humanoid companion bot named Flame, but you were fairly bad about allowing her to do anything fun. It seems Flame was interested romantically in you. When Curry and Flame were attacked in the street, Flame accidentally killed someone. Flame was forced to spend time in jail, but suffered no permanent consequences. In a last-minute attempt to find a life partner, you proposed to Flame, and what do you know, it worked. Well, see, the thing is that it's not like in the last minute attempt. It's more of like the longer it is, it's really hard to explain. I don't know. My relationships in my head are just so fucked up and they're so stupid. In 2049, you went to Surprise, Arizona to find your mother a gift for the holidays. You learned it was your surgical technology that had kept her alive this long. On returning to San Francisco, you had a brief stroke followed by a vision of a robot companion, the same one you saw 30 years before, only the relationship had changed. In the hospital, the doctor told you that you had Algernon's disease, a rare disease that increased your intelligence but came at the price of increasing seizures, comas, and possibly death. You chose to replace the malfunctioning part of your brain with an artificial neural network. You survived the surgery thanks to your own robot surgical technology. Your brush with death made you appreciate Flame all the more, and you realized that your love made you happier than any robot ever had. So, there you go. That was my initial playthrough of Choice of Robots. If you guys want me to play through and be something else or anything like that, go ahead and let me know. Also, if there are other games that you want me to play, I actually have a list that somebody recommended to me, so if a certain amount of time happens to go by and no good show up until then, I might just pick one off that list. So, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this series as much as I did, and there were a couple of times where I had to try and choke back some tears and not get too emotional. So it was very good. Props to Kevin Gold, PhD. Thank you for making the game, and I'll see you guys next time.